Question. What is that exact knowledge that helps one develop and gives the inner strength to see priyam, apriyam, favorable, unfavorable situation with samatva, to have a balanced response to the situation? What is the exact knowledge that helps a person to be balanced in favorable and unfavorable situation? What is that exact knowledge? Question. The exact knowledge is equanimity must be a natural response over a inevitable fact. Equanimity must be your natural response over a fact that is over a inevitable fact. If you say it is a fact and it is inevitable, what should be your response towards it? To be worried, to be anxious about it is foolishness. To be worried about an inevitable fact, to be anxious about an inevitable fact is foolishness. Then what is the right knowledge? The right knowledge is this. The moment I say it as a fact, what is the fact? Priyam and apriyam is the fact. A fact cannot be a cause for loss of equanimity. A fact cannot be a cause for the loss of equanimity. We lose equanimity because in our head we are not able to accept it as a fact. The problem is in our head we are still not matured enough to accept it as a fact. So the moment you accept it as a fact, by default what happens? Equanimity becomes an effect. What is understanding? It is a fact. Worrying about a inevitable fact is delusion, moha. Worrying or agitated about a fact which is inevitable is moha. Why do we say that? Irrespective of your worry or anxiety and irrespective of your efforts, that's how it's going to be. Because that's how it's going to be, what should be your natural understand? What should be your natural response? Your natural response, your natural understanding should be one of equanimity. So equanimity is more of an effect of understanding a fact. So you cannot ask how to practice equanimity. You can ask what is the right knowledge that will lead to equanimity. Because practiced equanimity has a shelf life, temporary. Maybe half a day, maybe half an hour. Yeah. எவ்வளவு நேரம் தான் இருக்குது. ஒன்னும் இல்லாம palpitationனாக்கா, nothing you say palpitation, what will you do? Inevitable. Now, if you try to, naturally you can practice. I should not be agitated. I should be calm under these circumstances. You can tell yourself all that. But the very fact that you are saying all this means you will end up very agitated and frustrated. Are able to follow? Therefore, what is other method? Do not worry about a fact that is inevitable. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells this to Arjuna. What are you worried about? The war is an inevitable fact. Do you have a choice now? War is an inevitable fact. And in the war, what will happen? It's a war, not real. Real war. And it's not a war of words, it's a war of swords. Yeah. So it's not the two people standing this side and katine illa. They're about to kill each other. What is an inevitable fact now? The war is an inevitable fact. How do you say the war is inevitable fact? On what basis you say it is inevitable? For all methods of reconciliation has been tried. When all methods of reconciliation has been tried, when war becomes inevitable, there's no need to worry about it. But the mind will worry. The mind will worry. Same thing happened in Ramayana also. The bridge was built, the armies crossed, they're all camped there. Rama says, somebody should go as a messenger. I said, what? Somebody should go as a messenger. What is that to go? Because the army invasion has happened, they are all there. He's also ready, you are also ready. What is it? I said, no. One more time. Then the discussion, who should go? Everybody said one name. He looked at Hanuman and said, who do you suggest? Vali's son. They said, why Vali's son? Because he has soft corner for Vali. Because he has a soft corner for Vali, he may listen to. Because if Hanuman goes, fight will start him. Because already he is irritated with Hanuman. Yeah. Sugriva will get scared looking at Rama. Yeah. Sugriva oda dheiriyalla Rama irukra varaikum da. By himself he will be. See, by himself Sugriva will not face Ravana. He will run away. Not that he is a coward or anything, but not of the valor of Ravana is extraordinary. Indrajit is extraordinary. So therefore, Sugriva cannot go. Hanuman cannot. So Rama says, small boy. They say, why small boy? No. His wall is. And that's what happened. Ravana said, join me. Why are you joining with the murderer of your father? Why are you joining with the murderer of your father? Join me. We will fight. No dilemma at all now. No dilemma at all. Why? Because the war is inevitable. Similarly, what is the fact of life that is inevitable? Priyam and apriyam is a fact of life. Equanimity itself means amidst apriyam, priyam and apriyam only equanimity comes in. Equanimity is amidst priyam and apriyam. Equanimity is not outside of priyam and apriyam. Sukadukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayau. Yeah. Jayam ajayam. Victory or loss. Sukha and dukha. Labha, profit. Opposite of that failure, loss. Same kritva. See everything equally. Now, what is seeing everything equally means? Understanding it as an inevitable fact. So, the moment you understand it as an inevitable fact, the saying comes, when remedies are past, griefs are ended. Thus, all remedies are, all are explored now. Having explored everything, there is nothing that can be done. Now what? There is no more. There's no more grief. That state is equanimity. Opposite of that is fighting with it. Opposite of that is trying to fight. You follow? What is that exact knowledge that gives equanimity? The exact knowledge is, it is an inevitable fact. And it is illusory to be disturbed over an inevitable fact. Something which is inevitable, why are you worried about it? Does it have any meaning to worry about an inevitable fact? That's why we say aging is an inevitable fact. Does it have any meaning? To worry about aging has no meaning, because it is an inevitable fact. So similarly, life is full of these facts. Equanimity comes from the one who understands this, as inevitable. Arjuna, you've gotten into this depression. Arjuna Vishada Yoga, it's called. You've gotten into this depression because of what? You are not able to accept it as a fact. Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha. The moment you wake up, the senses will do sparsha. The moment you wake up, sparsha means contact. The moment you wake up, the senses contact the world. Can it be avoided? Coma it will be avoided. So as the moment you wake up, the senses will contact the world. Okay. As soon as the senses contact the world, what happens inevitably? Sita, Ushna, it will experience. Sita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha. Shitoshna, Sukha, Dukkha, Daha. Daha means etc., etc., etc. So what happens is the moment you wake up, the senses contact the world, and when the senses contact the world, it will inevitably experience these. What is there to get affected by it? What is there to get affected by it? There's nothing to get affected by it, because the wise one, he already described in verse number 11. What did he say in verse number 11 of chapter 2? Katasuna katashumusya nanushocanti panditaha. Yeah. Mumba Butsal Mari Pesna Arjuna, he said. You spoke like a wise person, Arjuna. And who's the wise one? The wise one understands two things. What are the two things the wise one understands? Gatasun, Agatasun. Gatasun, those who have gone, yet to go. Rende category. There is one category who are gone. Now we are all in the battlefield, yet to go. Who knows? Wise one does not grieve. So a wise one does not grieve over an inevitable fact. What is that inevitable fact? Katasun, Katasun. Nanu shochanti, na anushochati. They don't know, they will not grieve at all. About what? About the inevitable fact. What is the inevitable fact? Katasun, Agatasun. Because you have not yet matured to that understanding of Gatasun and Agatasun, what you do? Temporarily titiksha practice. Instead of complaining, criticizing, worrying, getting agitated, temporarily practice titiksha. But titiksha is very elementary, temporary. LKG practice it is. But what is the lower kindergarten practice? What is the right thing? Walking in with the clarity. What is the clarity? Gatasuna, Tansoscha. Nanusochanti. Natvevaham natujasam, natvam neve janadipaha, Tadaivana Bhavishyamaha, Sarve Vayamataparam. What are you worried? Natvam neme janadipaha. Natvevaham jatunasam, natvam neme janadipaha, Tadaivana Bhavishyamaha, Sarve Vayamataparam. Pudusa enna paatitani that you are getting agitated. What is it that you saw newly? What is it that it has not happened before that it is happening now that you are getting too excited and agitated and worried? What is the answer? What is the answer? Nothing happens new in life. It's the same repetitive cycle. Nothing new happens. It's the same repetitive cycle. That same repetitive cycle, the Vajagovindam. Punaha api, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punaha api. Again and again, the same cycle only is going through Arjuna. In this, what is it that you saw so newly that you are getting shocked, that you are getting agitated? Shankaracharya says, பர்த்ல இருந்து ரெண்டே பேர் தான் கூட இருக்கிறாங்க. He says, the moment you are born, two. One is, and both of them he calls as Mitra. Mitra means ரெண்டு. ரெண்டு தான் ஒண்ணு. ஒன்னு knowledge, இன்னொன்னு death. So always there will be two going along with him. Even if you see the movie Adi Shankaracharya, Sanskrit movie, that's the only movie I have seen. There will be two people, and that two will be seen only by Adi Shankaracharya, which our கண்ணுக்கு யாருக்குமே தெரியாது. There will be two people. And then the last climax scene, he will say, oh, how can I leave you? You have been with me. Oh, all through my life, you have been with me. Oh, death. I am not afraid of you. Come, let us be together. Athoda movie is over. The Shankaracharya death we will not show. Yeah. Beautiful it is. So what is it that we are worrying about there? What is it that we worry? It is inevitable. What is that exact knowledge? Worrying about an inevitable fact is foolishness. Okay. What is the inevitable fact of life? The inevitable fact of life is change. The inevitable fact of life is change. Yeah. In a split second, life changes irreversibly. Isn't it? Everybody. It's not only for a few. For everybody, in a split second, something happens. It is irreversible after that. And this is the inevitable fact of life. When things are all right, you can prepare yourself. Not in a crisis, you come and ask what to do. In a crisis, if you come and ask what to do, what is the answer? Koma varum. Appada. Titiksha. In a crisis, if you come and ask what to do, practice titiksha. That advice is very, actually, it doesn't look like an advice at all. It looks like saying, as it is, I'm frustrated, you are continuing to be frustrated. So what is that exact knowledge? That priyam and apriyam is met with equanimity. This is it. It is natural for the other species to be equanimous amidst priyam and apriyam. It's easy for the other species to do that. Only human being is not able to do that. Because that's the because we have not yet bothered to understand this fact. They don't have choice at all. Therefore, they just go through that, isn't it? All animals go through pleasure and pain. It's not that they don't go through pleasure and pain, but one thing they don't go through is depression. They go through pleasure and pain, but they will not have depression. A human being also goes through pleasure and pain and then gets into depression also. Depression, worry, anxiety, whatever be that word you can use. What is the difference? Because the human mind is unwilling to accept the human mind is unwilling to accept a fact. What is the fact? Change. Change means priyam, apriyam. We will never know whether the change is going to be priyam or apriyam. We will never know whether the change is going to be favorable or unfavorable. That we will never know. But the mind always says favorable is okay. But the mind will say favorable is okay, unfavorable is not acceptable. Favorable changes are all right, unfavorable changes are not acceptable. And life doesn't worry about what you consider as favorable or unfavorable. It does. It goes. You follow? Lastly, what is that exact knowledge? You cannot avoid pleasure and pain, but you can rightly understand them. That is what human beings can do. Human beings can never conquer pleasure and pain. we can rightly understand them. In that right understanding, it remains unaffected. That is the exact knowledge. Is it okay? Any other clarification still left? Okay. Okay. Which book are we reading and where are we reading, Anshu? என்ன படிக்கிறோம் இப்போ?
The Fall of Human Intellect.
Fall of Human Intellect. அதுல in that you don't know Tamil.
Vital,
Another
chapter 5, Vital Role of the Intellect.
Okay.
In
chapter.
that,
Oh.
we have to start initiative versus incentive.
Okay. How to relate to the world, we finished. Okay. How to relate to the world. Be reasonable when you relate to the world. That's all. How to relate to the world? The question. How to relate to the world? Be reasonable. That's how you relate. What is being reasonable? Nature expresses itself. Nature will express itself. Number 2. Nature expresses itself, full stop illa. Nature expresses itself, comma, helplessly. Avladhan. Nature expresses itself, comma, helplessly. Because it is because it is going to express helplessly, what choice do we have? We have to rightly understand. After rightly understanding, you may choose to associate, not associate, partly associate. That freedom we have after the right assessment. And what is the right assessment? Nature expresses itself. Nature expressing itself means your opinions doesn't matter. Who cares? Nature expresses itself means your opinions doesn't matter. You can say what you want, you may think what you want, you can do what you want, you can create an organization, you can have a huge group of people saying the same thing like what you say, but at the end of the day, nature expresses itself. How to relate to the world is to say how not to lose harmony. How to relate to the world means how not to lose the harmony. How do you lose the harmony? The harmony is lost by fighting, resisting, fighting, not accepting the nature. You follow? But sir, if it is wrong nature, what I will do? Wrong nature, what I will do? If it is agitating you and you are getting agitated and you are the one who's getting frustrated and life is moving on as though your agitation and frustration doesn't matter at all, huh? Whose fault it is? Change. This is how you relate to the world. You may get agitated, you may get frustrated, you may have your opinions, and life moves on. Life moves on. It means what? How to relate to the world? Understand everyone comes with their inherent nature. what we call as package. What we call as package. ஒருத்தட்ட போறோம்னா அவர் என்ன பேக்கேஜ்னு தெரியணும். Clear? Package means something you will like, something you will not like. There can never be something which you can like everything about. There is something which oh எதுவுமே எனக்கு பிடிக்கல சார்னு சொல்ல முடியாது, எல்லாம் பிடிச்சிருக்கணும்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. So therefore all association will have everything that you associate comes to you in a package. Package means something will be pleasant, something will be unpleasant. If you want that person, you have to accept the package. In that person, you can't divide the person. You can't tear the person into two and say, keep this and get rid of it. Keep this and get rid of it. Now, what we do, wrong relationship meant what? We tear over the person into two. Keep this and don't keep this. Don't keep that. Why that person should not keep that? I love you, no? I love you, no? So much I love you. So much I have done for you. Can't you do? Can't you do this much in return for me? The other person will turn back and say, yeah. You'll feel very hurt. Who asked you? Yeah, who asked you? Now you'll feel, oh, ingratitude, sir. Life is full of ungrateful, ungrateful people. Blah. All the stories will, all the story will start. So what is the right relationship? The right relationship is understanding the package. You can't say, I understood but can't accept. If you are not able to accept, it means you have not understood. It's very clear. புரிஞ்சுட்டு சார், ஆனா ஒத்துக்க முடியலன்னா you have not yet accepted. I have understood that cobra is poisonous, but I'm not able to accept it. That's why I'm going and hugging it again and again and again. Will you say that? You can do that, but ultimately what will happen? It shows you are deluded. So how to relate to the world rightly? Accept the, understand the package. Understand the package. Package means something in it will be acceptable, something in it will not be acceptable. But sir, if we have accepted it as it is, how we will grow in life? So for us to grow in life, we have to fight and change. No. Well, electricity we would not have discovered. Air conditioners we would not have discovered. Yeah, we would have just stayed quiet. No. It means what? You should not accept it as it is, but fight and change. How do we understand this? How much ever you change, the inevitable will remain as a fact. What is the inevitable? What is the inevitable change? The caveman was anxious. The river civilization was anxious. Industrial civilization was anxious. AI civilization, depression. அங்கேயாவது அஜிடேஷன் சொல்றோம், இங்க டிப்ரெஷன் சொல்றோம் இல்லையா? So it means one thing is changing, but one thing is not changing. It should be legitimately correct for the caveman to be in agitation, and it should be legitimately correct for the current civilization to be, yeah, isn't it? Look at all those who are in the 50s now. They have lived the entire 2500 years. Yeah, and the 50s இருக்கிற ஆளுங்கள மாதிரி, correct? I still remember when we moved here in Kodambakkam, 1972 we came. Till 1978 it was mud road தான். ஆர்காட் ரோட் மட்டும்தான் தார் ரோடு இருக்கும், உள்ளுக்குள்ளெல்லாம் மட் ரோடு தான். In 79 only தார் ரோடு came. I saw that road engine, the road engine, huge thing. You are the Pathale. I don't know. Have you ever liked it? Pathale, all சந்தோஷமா இருக்கும். Wow. அது ஓட்டணும் இல்ல. Now you understand the folly of it. From that extreme to this extreme, you see it, but what has changed? Has anything changed mentally? Nothing has changed mentally. It means what? Certain inevitable fact we are not willing to accept. Because we are not willing to accept certain inevitable fact, we still remain the same. That's what he says. The right, how to relate to the world by rightly understanding, them. What is the right understanding? Inevitable. What is inevitable? Changes are inevitable. You can try and fight it. You can try and postpone it. You may pretend as though it doesn't exist. You may pretend as though it doesn't exist. You may want to believe that it will not happen to you. எனக்கு இப்படி ஆகும் நினைக்கல சார். I never thought it will happen to me. As though I am from special species category, isn't it? I am part of the creation. Same thing that happens to creation will happen to me also. Acceptance gives you the clarity to deal with it rightly. What is dealing with it rightly means? You may choose to associate, you may choose not to associate, you may partially associate. Right understanding on that, what becomes easy? Sasangatve, Nisangatva and all becomes easy. If you develop the right understanding, you know what to associate with and you know what not to associate with. Now, when you choose not to associate with something, there will not be a bitterness or a hatred or a frustration. When you choose not to associate, there will not be a hatred, a bitterness, a frustration. Why? Because you have rightly understood. Because you are rightly understood. Sasangatve, Nisangatvam, all that he said in the Bhajagovinda. Either you associate or disassociate. Disassociation is a last option. That's why in the scriptures, disassociation is not allowed at all. It is called as prarabdha. Prarabdhana enna artham? Prarabdhana stuck in artham, isn't it? Prarabdhana, you are stuck. Till what? Till what time you are stuck? Till what time you are stuck? Till the death. Till you die. These are all prarabdha. Till you die, don't even think of disassociating. What other option you have? You will know how to navigate through. You will know how to navigate through. இல்லையா? அதனால தான் பிராரப்தான்னு சொல்லியாச்சு. No, sir. We should fight. We should try to change. Vedanta says, yeah, definitely try to change. What are you trying to change? Are you trying to manipulate the matter to suit you, or are you trying to change the character of the other? What are you trying to change? You can try and manipulate the matter. You can try and change the matter. Manipulating the matter, changing the matter is okay. That's science. It doesn't worry about the character. Correct? What agitates you that you want to change? What agitates you that you want to change? Conduct, sir. Character. Adharma, I cannot stand, sir. Remember the quote? the man wrote in the tomb, the Archbishop. When I was young, I thought I will correct the whole world. Then I thought at least I can correct my country. Then I thought I could correct my state. Then I thought I could correct my city. Then I thought I could correct at least my association, welfare association. Then I thought I could correct my family members at least. When I am lying down, looking at everything, one thing I should have done is I should have corrected myself and stayed quiet. Yeah, one thing I should have done is I should have changed myself. If I have changed myself, maybe I would have changed somebody in the family, somebody in the welfare association, somebody in the city, somebody in the state, somebody in the country. Maybe possibility is there. Are you able to follow? Even if you really love the world, even if you are really affectionate to the world, even if you really want to help people around you, change. Change what? Yes. The indication of love is you want to change yourself. That is the indication of love. If you want to change the other, the other has become an object for your happiness. The other, you turn the other into an object for your happiness. So, how to relate to the world? There are two things that can be changed. One is the elements, the matter. When you try to change the elements, the matter, that is known as, that's what is called as science. Science will end up. That's why they say science only deal with the matter. I know science is not a problem. Because science will never lead to a divorce. Because I discovered an AC, divorce happened in Agave. Correct? Then where does problem start? The problem starts when the nature of the person manifests itself. Nature of the person means the character and conduct. What do we mean by nature of a person? Nature of a person means character and conduct. Looking at the character and conduct, you cannot be agitated, you cannot be frustrated, nor can you make an attempt to change. But sir, as a parent, I have a responsibility, no? As a responsible citizen, Facebook post ஆவது போடணும்ல. இல்லையா? அட்லீஸ்ட் ஃபேஸ்புக்ல ஒரு ஃபார்வர்டாவது பண்ணணும். கரெக்டா? வாட்ஸ்அப் குரூப்ல போஸ்ட் பண்ணுமா அத? அவர் கேட்கிறாரு ராஜ்குமார். Sir, as a responsible person, correct? What all dialogues he wrote? I don't even, Rajkumar. Adu kuda copy paste engirindo. Even the dialogues is not, yes, somewhere he copy pasted that also. Correct dana? See? That he the dialogue copy paste, forward copy paste, as I don't know, whatever he called himself. Can't even look at him after that. இது போட மாட்டேன்றாரு. I am also seeing notes எழுதுறாங்களே, யாராவது notes post பண்றாங்கன்னா, nobody post the notes. What they post? What they post? I don't know. Something they post. But one thing is very clear. It is definitely useless. Are you able to follow? Definitely. Why? Because I want to change. Why do I want to change? I want to help the other. If you really want to help the other, there is only one method according to Vedas. According to Vedas, Vedanta, there is only one method of, if you really love the world around you, if you really want to do good to the world around you, there is only one way. What is that only way? Yadyada charati sreshtaha tattat eva itarajanah sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanuvartate. Sayat pramanam kurute. Saha yadu prama. So whatsoever they do becomes the pramanam. Sayat pramanam kurute. அவ சொல்றது பிரமாணம் இல்ல, பண்றதுதான் பிரமாணம். சயத் பிரமாணம் குறித்தே லோகஸ் ததனு வர்த்ததே. இப்ப ஃபேஸ்புக்ல குருதேவா சும்மா வேர்ட்ஸ் போஸ்டிங்கா? சும்மா வேர்ட்ஸ் போஸ்டிங் தான். அதனால ஏதாவது பிரயோஜனம் இருக்கா? கிடையவே கிடையாது. வாட் இஸ் அதர் வே? எத்யத் ஆச்சரதி. இன்னைக்கெல்லாம் அந்த ஆச்சாரான்ற வேர்டு there is no, it's a நிஷித்தா வேர்ட் இல்லையா? அந்த வேர்டு, இந்த வேர்டு யூஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது. வாட் இஸ் தட் வேர்ட்? ஆச்சார. why? Because I will do what? I will do, sir, because I have the freedom to decide. Shastras come and say, first take it out. You don't have the freedom to decide. If everybody exercises this freedom, it will be anarchic, chaotic. That's why individual freedom is not absolute. Individual freedom is limited to obeying the law. Avalada individual freedom is. Again, always remember this. Your freedom is restricted only to obey the law. If I choose not to obey, there is a price. There is a consequence. Yeah. Are you able to follow? So, what is the freedom of the individual? The freedom of the individual is to obey the law. That obeying the law is called achara. Achara means what should be done, what should not be done in a given circumstance. Yeah. In a given circumstance, you should know what should be done, what should not be done. In a given circumstance, somebody comes and gives you the marriage invitation. That's a given circumstance. What should you do? What should you do? You should pray for their welfare. Yeah, you are only given the invitation, no? To that extent they are respecting you. To that extent they are respecting you, take the invitation and pray for their welfare. That's all. No, I don't know why they are getting married. Will it work? Will they not suffer? Idella inappropriate to the given circumstance, because all this should have been said before the marriage invitation வரதுக்கு முன்னாடி உங்கள்ட்ட சாய்ஸ் கேட்டிருந்தாதான் இதெல்லாம். They are coming, they come home with all one big set also, they will come, isn't it? Yeah. They come, sari, dhoti, I don't know. I feel like telling him, I don't know what I will do with all the so many dhotis. Final updates, circulation da. Oh, you must come. Correct. What will you do? You go. You follow what I'm saying? Similarly, what to do, what not to do in a given situation, you should know. If you go to the funeral, if somebody has come, you should not go and tell them, isn't it? You should just stay quiet there. You don't go and ask, you don't ask them, because in a given situation you need to know what to do, what not to do. That is the law. Are you able to follow? When you choose to obey the law, you are following achara. When you are following achara, you can be a source of help to somebody. Then only you can be a source of help to somebody. You can be a source of help through words. You can be a source of help through words, through actions, through wealth. The real source of help to somebody is by living a life of achara. If you really want to help the world, lead a life of Achara. There are very many ways we can help. One way of helping, another is what? Pay the fees. Somebody is in trouble, they're not able to pay the fees. You pay the fees. That is one way of helping. Another way of helping is words. ஈஸியானது அதுதான். அதனால தான் we took that job. உட்காந்து டிஸ்கோர்ஸ் கொடுக்குற மாதிரி ஈஸியான ஜாப் கிடையவே கிடையாது. And also when people are willing to listen, wow, what an extra kick it is. That doesn't change anybody. Yeah. If words have the power to change, we all would have changed. Are you able to follow? If words have the power to change, முதல்ல யார் சேஞ்ச் ஆயிருக்கணும்? ஸ்பீக்கர் சேஞ்ச் ஆயிருக்கணும். Yeah, if words have the power to change, speaker would have. But then you find no connection to the word and the speaker. Abdina, words don't change. Then what will help the person to change? What will help the person to motivate? What can be done? A life of achara. Yadyata charati sreshtah tattat eva itarajanaha. Itarajanaha means the rest. Itarajanaha, the rest and all, Arjuna. Sayat pramanam, it pramanam. Pramanam means pramanamna indisputable knowledge. Indisputable, irrefutable knowledge is called pramanam, which is different from opinion. Clear? Matamna opinion. Pramanamna knowledge. Me matam solrar. Arjuna, Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga, Sankhya Yoga is the best. But in my opinion, to you, Karma Yoga is best and rare. Abdina, he is able to bring the distinction very clear. So, in my opinion, to you, Arjuna, Karma Yoga is best. Adi independently correct arugutom. Adi independently best. But what relevance does it make to you? So, pramanamன்றது ஒரு வார்த்தை, matamன்றது ஒன்று. Matam means opinion. Opinion means it can be refuted. It is not absolute. So pramanamna irrefutable, undisputable, absolute knowledge. That is called pramanam. Charcoal is black in color. Is an irrefutable. That's why it's called pramanam. Maybe it is black in color. It is black in color. So, in my opinion, charcoal is black in color. Are able to follow the difference? Sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanu vartate. Why he used the word pramanam there? He used the word pramanam because your achara, your code of conduct, your behavior is the pramanam for the rest to follow. Therefore, if you have some affection, some love to the world, how you will live? You will live a life of achara. And what does the life of achara means? Obeying the law. In a given situation, what is appropriate? What is inappropriate? I should know and behave. And act accordingly. That is called obeying the law. Even if you want to change, what is the way to change? Assuming that you see something which needs to be changed. Even there, how do you change? By your actions. Sayat pramanam kurute. Kurute enna pandriyo, அதுதான் they are going to follow. என்ன பேசினாலும் nobody is going to listen. Because nobody listens to the words. Everybody looks at you. Sreshtaha means topmost in the hierarchy. Sreshtaha, topmost person in the hierarchy. If you want to do good to the world, you have to become a Sreshta. And how will you become a Sreshta? Follow a life of Code of conduct. What is appropriate? What is inappropriate? You know that nothing in creation likes to get hurt. You know that. You don't like to get hurt, and you also understand nothing in creation likes to get hurt. Therefore, what is appropriate code of conduct? Ahimsa. That's how you understand. Therefore, ahimsa becomes an appropriate code of conduct based on the natural law. From this, we will not say ahimsa as an ethical moral value. We're able to follow the difference. Ahimsa is not a moral principle, ethical principle. Ahimsa becomes a achara for you because of what? Because of an understanding. What is understanding? Nothing in creation likes to get hurt, including you. Therefore, what will you do? You don't like to get hurt. Therefore, what will you do? You don't hurt. Ahimsa becomes a achara here. Ahimsa is not a ethical moral value. So ethical moral value comes under the category of matam, opinion. Ethical moral value comes under the category of matam, opinion. That's why we say it's okay. But then achara doesn't consider it as a opinion. Achara considers it as a natural law that you should appropriately, because it's a natural law, you should know how to appropriately behave. Are you able to follow? Because how to relate to the world is governed by law. How to relate to the world is how to relate to the law. World means what? World is that which is governed by the law. Now, how to relate to the world? Know and understand the law that governs the creation and accordingly live. Are you able to follow? The anteater will be eaten by the anteater will be eaten by what? Ants only. The anteater will be eaten by the ant only. So in the cycle, it will just reverse. At one point in time, ants is the food for anteater. At another point in time, anteater become the food to the ants. This is the natural law. Therefore, achara means what? Yeah, achara, at least in the traditional setup, the new generation don't even understand what is this achara because nobody practices at home. If the new generation doesn't understand achara, who has to be blamed? Yeah. If my daughter doesn't practice achara, na yaar blame pannu? I can't blame my great-grandfather for that. Yeah, who has to be blamed for that? Me only has to be blamed because since I am not done, obviously they are not going to. Therefore, what is misunderstood as achara is certain external behavior which was traditionally handed over generations. Knowledge illa, practice illa. Therefore, achara is gone. Achara means the practice backed by the knowledge of that practice. That is achara. Again, I repeat. Achara means a practice, not only the practice backed by the knowledge of the practice. How to relate to the world. What is the world made up of? Law. In plural, laws. Instinctively, gravitational as a law is understood. Instinctively, the law of gravity is understood. Clear? And other romba run panna kuda body will try to adjust not to fall because instinctively it understands. All other species also seems to understand gravity. Yeah, that's a natural law. Yeah. Just as there are laws on the physical plane, there are laws on the psychological plane. The law on the psychological plane is called dharma achara. So one who adheres to the psychological laws, which is dharma and achara, becomes a sreshta, and that sreshta alone can be of some help to somebody when they want to change. Comma or பெரிய sentence, isn't it? One full sentence. How to relate to the world. Become a sreshta. How do you become a sreshta? Adhere to the law. What is adherence to the law? Understanding that there are psychological, just as there are physical laws, just as there is a law of chemistry. There is a law of there are laws. In just as there are law in every aspect, there are law that governs the inner nature of the human being also. The law that governs inner nature of the human being is called dharma, and that dharma tells you how to adhere to the law. That dharma telling you how to adhere to the law is called achara. Because the dharma says, in the appropriate situation, what to do. In this appropriate situation, what to do, what not to do. What is the psychological law? Nothing likes to be unhappy mentally. Nothing wants to be agitated. Yeah. How not to be agitated? You cannot violate the law and ask how not to be agitated. Because violating the law will result in agitation. So how to relate to the world? Understand, be a sreshta. How do you become a sreshta? By obeying the law. Law which was not written by you. The law which is not created by you. You are governed by the law. You are not the lawmaker. But human ego likes to believe that we are the human being. We believe that we are the lawmakers. I think it happened in 2019 or 2020, that case came. I was following it up for very long, and most of the cases I follow, the debates they do is so interesting. The Supreme Court said, adultery is not a legally punishable offense, it is a moral principle. Means you may choose to follow, you may choose not to follow. You know that? தெரியுமா சார்? இது நல்ல விஷயங்களா கிளாஸ்ல சொல்லி கொடுங்க சார், இல்லையா? Don't teach all the wrong things in the don't teach all the wrong things in the classroom. They said it's not a punishable offense. Previously it's a criminal offense. They said no, it is not a, maybe you can consider it as a, maybe you can consider it as a legal, maybe you can consider it as an ethical value, but not a legal principle. Now, I am not saying it's a legal principle or ethical principle. I am saying on what basis we even bring in the discrimination. Human ego likes to believe that it is the human ego likes to believe that we are the law makers. Dharma tells you, if you want to be a sreshta, and if you have to rightly relate to the world, and if you have to grow, one thing that you have to do is what? Obey the law. This is how you relate to the world. Yes, Rashekar, you have something to ask? Yeah, unmute him.
Sir, I have two questions. One is from what based on last week class.
Yes.
People actions are based on their desire,
Yes.
and which is the result of their subhava or guna based. And mostly their actions are also based on their conditioning, memory, based on their past experience, bias, likes and dislikes, beliefs, feelings, etc. And
Yes.
ego also. Whether
Yes.
all these things can be also called as a swabhava or
Your swabhava is your nature. You can be temporarily influenced by these factors. Again, I repeat, swabhava is your nature. You can be temporarily influenced by environment conditioning. What he's asking is, human also acts according to swabhava, but human also acts according to environment, etc. For which the answer is, human beings will come back to their swabhava. Though temporarily they may do something which is opposite to their swabhava for various reasons. Maybe a very pressing desire, or maybe a conditioning, or maybe what Ramakrishna Paramahamsa calls as Purana Vairagya. You hear a motivational talk, you think you are very inspired, you are very different. You will come back to your swabhava. And though these factors can temporarily influence. That is why not to be influenced by all these things and act rightly, you need to know your swabhava, etc. Otherwise, you will be influenced and you will be acting according to the conditioning. Next clarification, Rashikar. Yeah.
this is not related to the thing. When relatives or grandparents or friends visit a family, they appreciate the children in an exaggerated manner, and the kids think they are very true. They whether after they leave, whether it is duty of the children to point out what they think is not correct, or they have to learn themselves, or they have to point out the fallacies.
I couldn't hear what you said. I didn't hear it. I couldn't hear Rashikar.
When relatives or grandparents or friends visit a family, they appreciate the children
okay.
in an exaggerated manner.
Correct.
Because they are going to stay there only for half an hour or something, and then they leave. When they leave, whether it is the duty of the parents to point out the fallacy in that in their appreciation, so that the
children don't get carried away.
Yes.
Yeah. Rashekar is saying, children are there at home, guests come, and they say, wow, you are great. And the child thinks that it is great. And then after they leave, is it the duty of the parent to tell the child that you are not that great? Rashekar, the truth is, it is the parent that gets carried away by the remarks. No child gets carried away by the remarks. It's a fact. Because they laugh at it. Again, I repeat, who gets carried away by these remarks? Not the children. Why? The age is such that they have a clarity and they don't have the complex ego that the adult has developed. Because they haven't developed the complex ego that the adult has developed, they will say, they will not even receive it. But who are the one who actually gets affected? It's the parent. Therefore, the parent should remind themselves what? not the children. Why? Because they don't even receive it in the first place. Always remember this. They don't even receive it in the first place. Number two, because of the age factor and certain things, their objectivity is relatively high about themselves. Where it gets lost is as we age, we get more and more complex. As we age, we become more complex. Why it happens, I don't know. But human beings become more and more complex as they age. So Rashekar, so change the question. Do I have to correct my daughter? Leave your daughter alone. Yeah, leave your daughter alone. She will not have a problem. Yeah. It is parents who gets, because who gets affected when somebody brings a bad remark about the child? Who gets affected? Who takes it personally? It's a parent that takes it personally. No child takes it because they say, so what? If you talk to them, they will give you a discourse. You will be agitated listening to their discourse. Therefore, might as well understand it rightly. You follow? It's a natural experience for everybody. What I'm saying is a natural experience for everybody. They don't get complexed at all. The way in which the adult get. So, the parent gets it, the parent take it so seriously. Not only they take it so seriously, they will tell the child that you must stand up to that. Angada problem comes. Yeah, somebody comes and makes a remark. They leave. It leaves the child's head also. Yeah, it leaves the child's head also. Where the actual problem starts, now that they have said that about you, you have to live up to it. Prove them right now. Then they will turn back and say, next time they are not allowed inside the house. And next time they are not allowed inside the house, and you are also not allowed. Correct. Yeah, what else? Are you able to follow? I tell you, so funny. I have spoken to so many things, so many kids. I asked them, do you really? I said, don't tell me that you get affected at all. I know you guys are laughing. They said, correct, sir. We just don't get affected. Even the Sunday. Yeah, even the Sunday it happened. We are so. JEE exam, I think JEE exam. Oh God, some exams happen today, and for the next year, JEE, the boy is preparing 4 years back. One more year, agitation now, he's not sleeping, he's having gastritis problem, this is happening, that is happening, what to do? I told the mother, okay, I said, means just leave that place, that's all. Then I turned to that boy and said, hey, chumma kadadika. I said, don't give me stories. You are not at all affected by the exams at all. You don't know how to handle the pressure of your father and mother. No. He said, yes, sir. Yes, uncle. They are the only stress. Because of the pressure they put on me. Actually, JE is not a pressure because they know what they can do. They know what they can't do. And as it is, they are going through all that. Why even? Put it away. Are you able to follow? Who takes it personally and get affected? The parent take it personally. See, when the child fails, the parent take it as a personal failure. Isn't it? That's where the problem comes. Why should it be a personal failure? Why can't I say as a parent, thank God you failed now in front of me. I know how to teach you to handle it. You say that, that's the right way. Instead of saying in front of me, don't fail, and then go to office and fail there and get beaten up by the boss. Yeah. I always used to think. மீரா மாதிரி ஒரு பாஸ் இருந்தா என்ன பண்றது? Can anybody survive? You are not a boss, no? Are you a boss also? Raghu, I know he's a boss. I don't even look in his direction. How? Instead of making the child go and suffer under These people hands might as well face failure. Now teach them, go them, make them matured and go. That's the right. You follow what I'm saying? Rashekar. So children problem problem is the parents. It's not one or two cases, huh? Supposing it's not one or two, everywhere it's the same thing. What? Yes, Amit, with you we'll conclude. Yes. No, unmute. Yes.
Wanted to ask, what's the difference between dharma and achara? Is achara the following of dharma?
The difference between dharma and achara. Dharma is the law. Achara is the behavior in accordance to the law. So one is a law. Another is a behavior, a code of conduct, the way in which you act in adherence to the law. So when you are living a life in adherence to the law, that is called achara. Is it okay? Yeah. With this, we conclude for today and we continue.